So we're going to kick off our afternoon's discussion, and I want you guys to get involved in this as well. So I'm going to bring the panel on. Oh, the panel are already moving. Do you want to say anything, just to say hi?
Yeah, hi, Graham Kennedy. I'm the Director of Industrial Inkjet at Ricoh Europe. Nice to meet
Fantastic.
you.
Thank you. Mike?
I'm Mike Rottenborn. I'm the Group CEO of Hybrid Software Group, based in Cambridge, UK, and Ghent, Belgium.
Stephen?
Hi, I'm Steve Wilson, CEO of Inca Digital Printers. We've been based in Cambridge the last 20 years, making wide format and now single pass machines.
Wonderful. And finally, we've got Jan.
So my name is Jan van der Spoel. I'm a writer, speaker, and trainer about trust in leadership and company culture.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. So actually, this panel, we've talked a lot of... Lots of those themes came out today, haven't they? Those discussion points around innovation, leadership, these kind of issues. So I want to kick off with the first question, which is around that sort of innovation idea, okay? What is the one innovation that your company is delivering this year that you are super proud of?
I think, as an industrial printhead vendor, you probably expect me to talk about a printhead. We brought some new printheads to the market this year, of course. New iterations of Gen 5. Gen 6 has started to come out. We saw lots of new products coming to realization at FESPA, actually adopting Gen 6, so that was really nice to see. We brought a new thin film printhead to market. We won't see the fruits of those developments for a few months yet, but actually the one I think that kind of has chimed with a certain level of interest in the market was something we talked about back in November last year at the Packaging Summit in Cambridge, and that was our plant-based ink. Mm-hmm. So I think one of the hot topics today and recently has been the environment and sustainability. So coming up as we're not really known as an ink company, but coming up with a concept like plant-based ink, which has got great sustainability and environmental message to it. Not just the fact that it's soybean based, but the fact that when you use it, you don't need drying. So all of the energy that would be consumed as part of the drying process is eliminated. The CO2 emissions are non-existent. So I think that's definitely chimed well with the market and has garnered us a lot of interest on the back of.
Thank you. Nice innovation. A few nods there. Nice innovation. Yeah. No. Oh, hang on.
Thank you. Off the table.
Of course you can. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's what. Yeah, of course.
But it is non-product.
Oh, okay.
Leadership.
Okay.
Related.
Okay.
Because this morning
What?
was fantastic. Because I didn't hear about products.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do one of each, because I think that would balance the. Yeah. How about a compromise? One of each. I want. So, what's your one other innovation within the business, Ricoh, that you're delivering? It could be a one-word innovation. Do you want to think about that? I can move to Mike.
No. I think maybe not necessarily in industrial print, but Ricoh had to pivot significantly over the last couple of years. We're well known for being an office printer vendor, and of course people aren't going to the office, they're not pressing that green button to generate clicks, which is a huge part of our revenue. So we had to pivot, we had to transform very quickly, and Ricoh has done that very successfully, turning itself into a solutions provider for, we had some really successful campaigns, on work together anywhere, which was enabling people to work from home, work remotely, and providing them with the tools and the infrastructure, and our clients with the tools and the infrastructure to do exactly the same.
Good. Thank you for that. Mike.
All right. So I'll start by answering your question first, sir. Our most proud innovation that's not a product is our shift from being a component provider to a full solutions provider. I believe that's what Graham just said. I believe that's what the gentleman across the hall just said. And I love that theme keeps echoing through the conference. So to support that a little bit, let me tell you who Hybrid Software Group is. We're 6 companies. We start off as Global Graphic Software, the creator of the Harlequin Rip. We're Meteor Inkjet, Printhead Drive Electronics, also based in Cambridge. We're Hybrid Software, based in Ghent, Belgium, which are professional PDF editors and workflow automation for labels and packaging. We're Zytron, RIPs and DFEs. We're color logic, color management, and color conversion software, especially for extended gamut conversion of spot colors for labels and packaging. Converting not just to CMYK, but to extended color spaces, CMYK plus orange, green, and violet, for example. And our most recent acquisition is 3D modeling, a company called IC3D, which for direct-to-shape printing, again, that's vital. So we're a collection of 6 companies, but at our heart, we're a RIP company. Now, I could ask if you know what a RIP is, but I'm sure you do. But I guess I would ask, assuming that our DNA comes from 30 years in the RIP business, when's the last time anybody got excited about buying a RIP? Okay? That's why we have to be a solution provider, because our customers, which are many of the large OEMs in this room, want full solutions. And what is a solution? It's a DFE. So to answer the second half of the question, our most proud innovation is a product called Smart DFE that will be launched at Label Expo in the US in September on 3 major label presses as a full-featured solution. So yes, it's a RIP. It's high-speed rendering and screening. It's printhead drive electronics from Meteor, actually connecting the data to the printheads themselves. It's the color management. It's the color quality, the uniformity, and the print quality software that goes along with it. It's the inspection. But the most important thing, and this is something I haven't heard yet today, you can buy the best digital press in the world, but if you can't feed it, you're not making money. That's why you need to connect into e-commerce, you need to connect into web-to-print and MIS solutions that contain the data you need to drive that product accurately. And that's where we provide a full solution in Smart DFE. Okay. The last point is we integrate with open standards, even into a factory floor environment, using a standard called OPC. To connect a digital printer into the manufacturing workflow. So that's our most proud innovation.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Stephen.
I was going to combine both the product and the innovation aspects, and leadership as well, actually, because the thing we're most proud of, I think, as a company this year within Agfa Cambridge, as we are now.
As you know now, Agfa Cambridge.
Well, we're still Inca Digital, but you know this. So within our little campus of companies here, the SpeedSet product has just been put together in the last couple of years. I just saw it running sheets the other day, and they were going bang, bang, bang into the stacker, and I thought it's a great thing to see after so much hard work over the last few years. And of course, that work has been during COVID. So actually, I'm really proud of the fact that our team has innovated during a time of great challenges, where supplier delays and all kinds of changes in working practice. When you weren't allowed to have so many people in the building, and trying to keep the health and safety to run a big machine. So there's many different aspects to the innovation. I can talk about the patents and everything else, but it's not just the technology, the team, the way they've worked together, and the leadership involved in getting that to a successful result is what I'm most proud of at the moment.
Fantastic. Jan, now, obviously, Jan, you're not a manufacturer, so we're not going to hear a manufacturer's story here. We're going to hear something different. So as a business, what have you done this year that you're proud to say, we've changed the way we're thinking?
Well, I did create a new product, and it's the 360 degrees trust compass. I have a background as a designer and a creative director, and a couple of years ago, I came across the topic of trust, and we talked about trust today quite often. The word was used and on the board as well. Mm-hmm. But if you really look into what is trust, nobody really knows. How do you build trust? What is trust? And when you say, I am a trusted leader, no, you're not. You're not the person to say you're the trusted leader. Someone else does that. So I dove into that with my background as a designer, and I dissected all the little words, all the triggers that actually have an impact on relationships. And I designed this into one model, and it's called the 360 degrees trust compass. And if you want to know more about a specific model, you have to join me tomorrow at 9 o'clock at the roundtable conference.
We'll be doing sessions tomorrow, won't we? So
that's about that. But I'm writing the book about it together with the publisher, and if everything goes right, it will be published by December this year. However, in Dutch, but the English version is also in the books. So that's my innovation for now.
So this morning, it was mentioned several times that there was a thought that innovation comes from customers' pains. Do we kind of agree with that? Do we find that how many of you are talking to customers on a regular basis to to work out there? Just kind of nod if you are. Yeah. So it's customers' pains, what they struggle with. Is that where you're innovating from? Is that kind of where you guys tend to come with innovation? Yeah. So going back to that thought of customer pains, what particularly are you picking up on at the moment? What are the things that are keeping customers up at night, making life difficult for them? Obviously, all the problems that we face in the world, but what are you hearing when you talk to them?
Well, I think supply chain issues,
Yep.
Component shortages. I think particularly on the drive electronics perspective, the availability of chips, is really impacting the machine build for a lot of customers. But there are other components in the chain as well, whether it's drive motors or others. The availability, the shortage, that's probably the biggest concern for customers.
Is that pretty much what everyone else is hearing? Are there other things that you might say are challenging? Cost of fuel, cost of energy, paper?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Paper's a big issue for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I was talking to Scandinavian customers recently, and they were talking about how hard it is to buy paper in Finland and Sweden, and you think, well, that's where all the mills are, so if it's hard there, it must be really hard everywhere else.
Yeah.
I think it is hard everywhere else, and I think that what's happened in Scandinavia has frightened printers around the world.
For the strike.
If they can't get paper, doesn't matter how good their digital presses are, they're not making any money. So that's
so
certainly
on
a
that
concern.
basis, that there are some things that are challenging all of us, particularly in the industry we're in. How do you view that as an opportunity to innovate?
I think getting the most out of the materials that you can print is really important, and having the flexibility in the machine. So if they can't get this exact grade material, whatever they can buy needs to be able to run. So having the flexibility built into the product and the print process so you can tune it for different materials is really important. And I was going to add as well, ease of use is a huge thing, because we see this in many print publications over the last few years, that skilled operators are retiring, and those are the guys who need to run these high-speed machines, because of course, our single-pass machine has got a feeder and a stacker, very much like an offset press. So you need to make those things easy to use, you need to automate them, because you're not going to get the same skill level that you had 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think that we've heard that before. Can I just see it sort of, is that something resonating with you? Shortage of skilled operators in the industry? Just nod if, yeah. And obviously the conversation a few years ago talked a little bit about Industry 4.0, and that was we were all going to be taken over by robots, weren't we? And now we're short of people. So that sounds odd to me.
We are selling Ultra robots in Cambridge.
Yeah.
So.
But at the same time, if you walk into a conventional press room, you see a team of pressmen on a flexo press. You walk into a digital press room, you see one guy running two presses.
Yeah.
So in a way, the labor shortage, the paper shortage, the need to be able to quickly change a label to reflect the ingredients you can get instead of the ones you could get last week, all of those push more work to digital. We just need to be here to support it.
Yeah. Any particular comments? I have some more questions, but any particular comments? Yeah, fine. So, Ricoh. Yeah.
Living in Europe, it's easy to get education. But going to the States, where you have workers from Mexico working in a press, which are very intrigued, going to China, going to Japan, going to Taiwan, whatever. What about their business areas? Because they're the skilled people are really hard to get on. How do we handle this?
Any comments?
We do provide user interfaces in Spanish, which is extremely useful in the North America.
Yeah. No, but that's a step in the right direction.
It's got to be
Closer.
done. Yeah.
Any other comments? Any other? Yeah. Go on.
I think when we transitioned into inkjet, there was an assumption that's been made that we'd almost be skilled because there were big flashing green buttons pressing everything happens. I think we're sort of starting to see that the actions now that you're almost going back 10 years, 20 years, reskilling people to print effective digital print.
So I've got this right. Fujifilm. Yeah. So Fujifilm traditionally, Cerakote, very traditional, analog technology. So they were skilled people, weren't they? Yeah. So now what you're saying is that what's happened is you think the digital people were skilled as well. Is that?
I think what I was trying to say is when it first came onto the market, especially the wide format,
Yeah.
it gave the impression that you didn't need to be skilled to do that.
Yeah.
So there was a view of employing people that you didn't need to skill. You could just press the button, the software to control everything, the press did everything for you.
I think Richard's got a point. Which the
Yeah.
technology has evolved now. The products are much more sophisticated than they were 20 years
Yeah.
ago. And when you combine the sophistication in the imaging device with the fact it's a very fast machine as well, then you need the traditional skills, or some of those traditional skills in terms of setting up feeders and the rest, but also that understanding the digital engine that's in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Go on, Mike.
hasn't the skill demand simply moved upstream? I believe today's CSRs or customer service reps were the pre-press departments of yesteryear. And your pre-press department today has to be very skilled in digital. Otherwise, with the fast machines and the shortage of substrates, they're simply going to produce more waste faster. So
That's a fair comment.
There was an area, probably in 10 years, where I think that would be skilled.
Yeah.
That's just...
Go back to one of the things I just mentioned there, simplicity. So sometimes we get a bit overcomplicated. You know, we've heard it today. People have said, oh, the technology, oh, you know. A lot of people, the end user, wants simple solutions. So do we overcomplicate our offering, Graham?
Yeah, absolutely. And for risk of repeating myself from those who are in the last session in this room, I think we do overcomplicate. You know, engineering complicated systems just because they can, perhaps without listening to the needs of the market. So we would always advocate to try and keep things simple, develop products that work, that come to market in a fast time frame, they come to market on budget, and they're delivered with a strong return on investment. Yeah. You know, I think we can all think of projects that have been in development for 10 years that never came to market or are still in that development phase. So I think we would always encourage, you know, go for something simple. You know, develop something that works, build your confidence, sell it to the market, and then take the next step thereafter. So don't overcomplicate at the start.
Steve, did you want to add anything to that?
I think Graham's right that when a technology is brand new, it tends to be a bit less user-friendly. If you look at your phone, you know, if you ever had a Motorola phone 20 years ago, you know what I mean. But I think as the technology matures, then it gets easier to make a more user-friendly product, and you can simplify the use cases, simplify the operation. However, we've got another problem, I think, which is that as a lot of us are moving from sign and display, graphics, into packaging, we're dealing with different sorts of customers. And those customers have less familiarity with inkjet devices. So it's a bit like going back in time 20 years ago into graphics, a wide format as it was, where, you know, there's 1 in 20 screen printers knew something about inkjet, whereas now it's the vast majority.
And not only that, there's a resistance to change in those environments.
Yes.
Because they're analog technology, they have a supply chain, they like the system, it works.
It's very robust.
There's a sort of resistance to new technology, isn't there? So they go, yeah, we get digital, but we quite like what we're doing.
Frazer,
Angus.
I mean, just to say from the industrial space as well, I mean, we're talking more to end users who are coming to inkjet. Coming to inkjet, one of them because it is more sustainable, and we're probably going to be talking about, but they have no knowledge of inkjet at all.
Yeah.
You know, and hence one of the things that we're talking about before is we need to provide more complete solutions, and it's one of the reasons why Zara has bought into, you know, has acquired some companies to give them more complete solutions.
Yeah, and actually that leads on to another, just a thought around that obviously you see some consolidation within our marketplace. Agfa, Inca, Hybrid, there's consolidation to try and create one-stop shop. Is that what?
Full solutions providers.
Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you.
Us too.
It's similar, one-stop shop or more
very much so.
Solution providers.
And when you think about a solution, you've got to remember that the customer doesn't necessarily want to buy an inkjet printer. They just want to buy a solution. And further, Angus is exactly right on that. So they want to put, you know, blank paper in one end or whatever the material is and get it out printed the other end. What's in the middle, this mysterious black box, that's only a different technology to make it cost effective for different kinds of printing, right?
Yeah.
But if a customer doesn't actually care, they just want something that's as simple to use as possible.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, please, Chris.
I think a couple of other things, we will tend to get too close to the product.
Yep.
And today, I think we need to differentiate. One of the sessions this morning regarding finance, I think is going to play a big part in the sale of any press,
Yep.
digital or not, and that people really need to also focus on being much easier to do business with. There are some companies in our industry who are appalling to deal with as printers.
Yep.
It's just very
Is that because it's a technology, and therefore typically, I'm not saying this is in every occasion, but the direction you're coming from is a technological direction rather than a customer-focused direction?
But we've been customer focused for a long time.
Yeah, you'd say that, wouldn't you? You'd hope that.
Some more than others.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, some more than others. Oh, yeah.
If you compare it to what's happened to the iPhone,
Yeah.
or that technology, we haven't moved anywhere near as fast.
Yeah. Ken, did you want to say anything to that response about the fine? I thought he did. Yeah, yeah. He was backing up your story, but did you want to add anything to that?
I think that from a perspective of the print, if someone's going to go buy a large device or large software package from folks state, I do think it's becoming easier to deal with.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
I also think that and I remember I was one of those guys for many years, so I will take it like too. You often overpromise a bit on how easy things are to use, big green button, oh wow, the color's going to come out right. I think we just need to continue now that we've become sort of this sort of standard in terms of digital printing. In the old days, digital printing was a stretch goal. Right now, it's the standard. We need to be a little more upfront about these are the issues we're going to run into, right? Particularly when people are adopting the technology.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think, Chris, being easier to deal with and finding new finance solutions, it's important from a developer's perspective as well. In an R&D space, when we're talking about some of these big industrial systems, the print head, it can be 35% of the total cost of the system. So if you've got a couple of hundred print heads, that's a couple of $100,000 tied up in your development cycle. So looking at new innovative ways that print heads can be financed during the development cycle, can free up some development cash for other activities as well.
Like software.
Exactly.
Yeah. I want to ask something about future proofing, because there's an argument, isn't there, that we're going through a pretty tumultuous time at the moment. And I wonder whether we're future proofing our technology for the customer or for us or what. Just Jan, you talk a bit about future proofing. Just explain what that means to this environment.
So if you look at the word future proof, that's what we all strive to be. But if you look at waterproof or bulletproof, that's being resistant to it. So when you are future proof, you're resistant to the future. And to me, if I experience this event, this is a sort of what I feel. Because the next step is how to become future excited. Because then your leadership skills actually takes your whole company into the future. And then you really make a difference between making a new product or changing the future for your company and for your customers.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's for customers, surely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would support that. I think future adaptable is probably what I think of.
Well, we're creating our own words here, aren't we? Future.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So the outcome from here is we've created some new words. Future adapting.
But I think one of the things about inkjet is a very flexible process.
Yep.
It can do lots of things. And I think the inkjet business gets too wrapped up in it's about graphics and it's about that. It's not. It's about depositing what you in. And I think people need to think about more broader things. Inkjet is used in agrochemicals.
Yeah.
Because you can deposit.
Well, you heard what Sikpa was saying about some of the thermal inkjet.
In the end, it's just a manufacturing technology.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's right. That's right.
And we say printers want to buy a press. I think printers want to sell the output of a press.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the number one priority. And that's what we remember when we interact with our customers.
It's your customer's customer that really
Yeah.
matters.
So, does that resonate with everyone else? Is there any comments from the back? Or Simon, did you want to? No? Anyone else? No? Pedro, you have a view? You have a lot of many... Karen, no?
I was only thinking more about pay as a service, go a step ahead. Not thinking about only technology, offering technology, but really think about either networking between the print providers. That's one topic because you have a lot of load balancing, what you can do, and the other step is with the financing, really go to the next step. Offer it as pay as a service, have some hubs where you have specialized people, specialized printer, and I think if Ricoh, EFI, Inca, Aqua, Canon, HP, name them, a lot of advantages.
Shared?
So really share a bit more.
Okay.
So then innovate also for the industrial printing, new applications, because some of them are really outstanding, as we've been in the past 20 years ago with the commercial printing. So really innovate together also the whole industry. I think there is
Yeah, I mean, there is an
I think you're
argument. There's quite a strong argument for that.
Sorry.
Go on. No.
You can be future-proof or future adaptable in terms of your product design. So you can design a product that can do things that you didn't imagine when you first created it. So more flexibility, but also business models. I think that's what you were saying, which is that both the business model in terms of how you sell the machine to the customer, and is it sort of a hire purchase or is it click charge? There's lots of different flexibilities, but also within the industry, as you kind of hinted at, there's a lot of trade printers these days who sell to each other, and they can be very effective and very profitable doing that.
Would you support something like that kind of initiative? For you, or for Agfa, as you are?
I'd be careful what I say.
Vincent?
I'd be interested to know where the trend in the industry is going. Ken might have more insights than I do. But
I guess I'd give you one piece of input there. I think the trend on labels and packaging is to do exactly what you're saying, but driven by the large brands. And brands are, let's be honest, they're a bit resistant to digital because they don't want to tamper with what works. But more and more they are open to that. And brands do have the scope and the footprint to say this product needs to be printed in 18 different locations and needs to be exactly the same. And I think they will drive these type of networks that you're bringing up.
Yeah.
A question, aren't you all afraid that Amazon is going to snap you all up in a couple of years and have what you provide partly for free on the internet?
it's a possibility.
Because they did it in a lot of other
they
industries.
could be a customer.
Yeah.
So they could be a customer as well. So there's quite a lot of large web-to-print companies, and I think it's no secret to say that we know a lot of them. We've got some customers in that world, and so have a lot of our competitors. And those guys are kind of leading the way in terms of they don't really know what it is they're printing, but the system does. So the order comes in from the internet, it goes on the machine, it comes out, it gets finished. And then there's, apart from a barcode, there's nothing to say who that's for.
So you're saying you're not afraid at all that some higher authority or power is going to take your business away like that?
I think it's healthy because it will grow digital over analog. It's quite hard to do that kind of responsive web to print.
So
with
just say
analog.
no.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I guess I would say anybody that's opened up an Amazon brown box recently understands that Amazon has a lot more to learn about packaging.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be quite a while before they're taking away any packaging business. Just the complexity, the liability, the color quality requirements. This is important to brands, not to the web shops that are fulfilling for those brands.
Yeah, I think there are some markets that are really interesting for Amazon. We saw them invest heavily in the direct-to-garment market a couple of years ago because their big data was telling them how many hundreds of thousands of individual houses, people with a direct-to-garment printer in their garage or their bedroom, how many units they were shipping, how much money they were making, how many transactions, and all that big data accumulated to tell Amazon, we need to be involved in this business. And they've got their printing hubs, they've got the distribution. It makes sense for them to go after the market where they can add value and take large margins. But I think there are a lot of what we do in commercial print, in industrial print, hasn't necessarily got the margins that Amazon might want or expect.
There's one innovation actually that Amazon have already done, which is to inkjet print the shipping code unique shipping codes per box with the rest of the box. And that allows them to then link that to what goes inside the box and then track it all the way through.
Stephen, why
So
are
no
they?
label.
Stephen, why are they not? Why are Amazon still choosing not to print on the outside?
Just cost, I think.
Is it
actually.
only cost?
Yeah, and I guess that maybe there's some ROI in terms of printing advertising on the inside of the box.
Anyone? Oh yeah, Simon, go on, please.
One comment I'd have is why do you need to print anything on the inside either?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you might put an advert inside saying you've bought a lawnmower. Here's. Yeah, but you could equally put something that's connected to say you've bought a lawnmower, therefore, do you want... Yeah.
I think, by the way, I think what Amazon wants,
sorry, Mike.
what Amazon wants the most is a product box that they can simply put a label on and ship it in
So
its
you
own
think
box,
that they're not
in
interested
an
in-
Amazon brown box, and that's not their responsibility. That's the product manufacturer's
You don't think they're
responsibility.
interested in selling more product and using it as an opportunity to sell more product?
I think they are interested in selling more product and less packaging.
Yeah.
And I think they want the packaging to be the manufacturer's responsibility, not their own.
There's another kind of example.
Sorry. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
Go on, please do.
if you go to like a higher end e-commerce vendor, if you
Yeah.
buy a nice pair of jeans or a shirt or something that's been fitted, then you're more likely to get good decoration on the inside of the box or customized decoration that's trying to sell you the next
That's
product.
about experience, isn't it? You're
Yeah.
getting a continued
So-
experience from the purchase.
And it's easier for those guys because there's a smaller range of products that they sell, a smaller range of marketing options.
Yep.
So it's much easier to do the workflow to get that working.
Yep.
For Amazon, it's very hard because there's hundreds of thousands of products.
I just want to see, because I know I can see Francois at the back. Any comment from Bob's on this subject around Amazon? Yep. 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 Yeah, but you can print on the inside, can't you?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Give us one thing that we should be looking at. That's two things, Francois. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Did you want to?
I think you're right, Francois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We've got 2 minutes. Any final question, thought that you just want to raise? Anything you think, I really just want to raise this? I haven't heard anyone say this yet. Simon. Just volume up. Sorry, it's my fault. Yeah, go on. Yep. Filled cans.
I think at this point, Simon, no. We're seeing that demand is at a much earlier stage upstream before it gets to the filling process.
Were you thinking product decoration in a sports environment where you've got a game of football or something? Late stage. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Heiner, did you want to just add something?
Add to that,
they're wonderful cans, you know. And interesting for me is, you know, they have the craft beer market in their focus, and apparently they're doing quite well with that.
You should have a chat with Simon about that later. Simon might know something about that later. Anyway, listen, I think we should just wrap it up. Thank you guys for that. It kind of got us thinking about some things and talking about some issues that maybe we haven't picked up on today. So give them a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thanks.